What's up, brothers and sisters? It's your brother G World 7 underscore D doing a quick video. Um, I I want to I talked about it a little bit already, but the issue excuse me, of so-called ancient Egypt blackness, which most people common sense know is black. I mentioned this before. It's a two-volume book. It's called by UNESCO. Let me get it right. The United Nations Educational Scientific Cultural Organization. So you can go check that out. Get volume one and two. Those are ones that I have. You know, where they deal actually with ancient Egypt in volume two in depth, and it basically talks about that. It just mentions the people black man, and it goes to this little Cleopatra movie, which I'm not gonna really waste my time to view. I doubt it. I view it, but because it still had the agenda up in there, because Cleopatra, yes, she was a Macedonian, but she was a straight black woman. She wasn't a mulatto like they have in the play in the movie. Yeah, she's black. The lady's black, but she's a mixed black. But Cleopatra wasn't mixed because the Macedonians and the original Greeks were black. I mentioned before, Greek was a colony of Egypt. You know, and basically, you had the horde. They had an invasion of what you could say some whites, and I want to say 1200 BC, but they were absorbed, and white people today are not those descendants. White people are descendants of the whites who invaded around 49 to 50 AD. So that's way after. So the Greeks or the Macedonians who came into Egypt, Ptolemy, those are Negroes, man. They were the white folks right there. The original white folks you see coming into Africa and them other regions were white. Were black. But the original slaves, the white folks came there, as slaves. The original white folks came there as slaves. And here's a problem. The result, these bastards run around North Africa today, and I said this already, but they're the result of basically some black man raping white women, man. And maybe that's why they fear of the black man raping the white woman, because you had those black men in power procreating with those white women. And that's what it was, man. And that's how you start getting the lightning up of North, because they had a concubine of white female slaves coming into North Africa, you know, and it was bringing them white women there. You had some white male slaves, but you had a bunch of concubine of white women. You had some black women too, but most of these black men had their way with these white women. And some of them enjoyed the little yellow-haired white women. So don't keep this real, man. So they are the result of actually a bastard children. They're descendants, and they're descendants of bastards. And I say it like I'm going to say it. They are descendants of individuals who was in forced concubinage. So they're not indigenous to nothing. Pale skin is not indigenous to warm climate at all. Hell, pale skin is not the original to even colder climate, because you can still have strong melanin in you in colder climate. You obviously wouldn't. You could still be, let's say, a brown skin black person there, but you would not be, let's say, like someone near the equator, like, let's say, in ancient Peru or the Sudan or something like that. You will not be as dark as them, but you can still maintain your dark skin. Lots of times it depends on what you eat, and it was their diet and what they're eating allowed them to still maintain their darker skin while living in a colder climate. All right, um, so when you hear this foolishness about white people being indigenous, white people not indigenous anyway, but it's sad though. I've heard several. Well, I heard two Africans one dude got up there and said, "Well, this pictures of Cleopatra. He's a Nigerian. Pictures of Cleopatra is obviously she was white." They're like, huh? You looking at them fake pictures that them bastards throw out, man. They'll have you a real statues made of her. Obviously, you see unquestionably a black woman, an unmixed black woman, and then you see these little bogus ass statues that they throw up, man, and then they put in these damn museums and they call it legit. I'm telling you, man. Some people cannot critically think. Then there's this little mulatto Nigerian chick who always runs her mouth and trash black Americans, say that the Cleopatra movie is one of the worst things that could ever be made. My problem is that they tried to interracialize everything when the original Greeks themselves was black, man. Alexander the Greek wasn't white. He was a Negro, man. All them people were black, dude. So they didn't have no race, but see, this movie is gonna try to make it interracial. See, the white Hollywood will promote that. So they'll stick a mixed black woman, which should be actually a pure blood black woman, and a bunch of black Greeks and Romans. I mean, you had a bunch of black Roman emperors because Rome itself was black, man. But you dealing with a sick mind of white people. See, that their history comes from them being really originally barbarians and slaves. But then they flipped it and made us the slaves. So they gave us the slave narrative with some of these Negro scholars continue to run with that, as well as these little other Negro of intelligentsia continue to run with that narrative of us being slaves when black people are the original people in every continent. I showed you in my previous videos that black people are the original people. So-called black people are the original people in every continent. Every continent. White folks are not indigenous to nothing. I said this over and over again. They come from us. They're a genetic mutation of us. And then between the mixture of black and white, you get to various different degrees of people. The original people all in India were black. The original people, all you got to do is look at them people in Andaman Islands and them other black people in Southern India who look like Australoid blacks. And then you can go to Cambodia. You can tell the original Negroes were there riding their freaking elephants and stuff. You can see the stone carved images of black people there. And I told you before, there was a connection to Africa, Asia, and Americas. Black folks are indigenous to this planet. That's why I keep telling people, most of our people weren't brought in no slave ships, man. You put things together, you'll know that majority of black people are already here. And what they do, their land was stolen from them. And then it's given to other people, and then identity was stolen from them, given to other people. And then they were reclassified as being foreigners in their own land. That's why I have problems with this African American term and these Pan-African, well, I'm African, I'm African. No, we are indigenous to this land. When you keep using these other terms, you make yourself a foreigner in your own land, allow people to hijack your identity. This is a problem that I have with these Pan-Africans, man. I think most of them are ignorant. They're truly ignorant. And they're truly ignorant to what you call population movement, how different populations move around the world. Black folks, no matter where they at, travel freely. And we warred amongst each other. Ancient world, these ancient civilizations were Negro civilizations. White folks not indigenous to nothing. I just said that. So, but check out those two books from UNESCO, the early two, or the first two. Yeah, that talks about the so-called peopling of that region, especially book two, when it was going through the so-called debates. But you have to understand, man, is that these white folks do not like you, and these others do not like you, because they know deep down inside they're not the original people. They know that. They know that pale-skinned people have to basically clothe themselves. They can't walk around the deep sun half naked because they will die of skin cancer. They do not have the deep, strong melanin to protect themselves. But you see these white folks, they'll do anything and everything. They can't. What bug me, not only these white folks, but what bug me by a lot of these Negro scholars, you don't hear them talk about blacks in Asia and the Pacific. They just like ignore them. In Australia, they ignore them. And these white scholars ignore them because they don't expect you to study that and know that information. Like I said before, the Melanesian, the Polynesian, the Micronesian Islands were black. All Melanesian means black. Okay? So when I hear people, when we talk about melanated people, stop including these Latinos, man. Everyone has some form of melanin, but Melanesian means black. All right? Stop including these other people. All right? Micro means small, like in microchip. Micro is small. Poly, like in cross-pollination, that means many. Those names are given by white folks. So, but all of them were so-called Negro people. All of them. And then once you study this and you realize that black people were the indigenous aboriginal people on this planet. Period. It's not up for debate. It has never been up for debate. It's just white folks giving you some psychobabbling. And then when white folks start explaining, they start explaining stuff to the point they want to write you out of history. Man, I've seen maps that these crackers don't have, man, where they have Egypt floating in the Mediterranean out of the continent of Africa. It's how sick these bastards are, man. These are some ignorant ass people, man. And it's why you do not procreate with them. You don't do stuff like that. You do not lay down with them, black men or women, and have children with them. You don't do that. I love who I love. Shut the hell up. If you love yourself, you wouldn't do that. Because when you do that, you're setting to erase yourself off this planet. But some of you Negroes don't care because you have so much self-hate. You do not procreate with people who's not of your physical, who do not look like you physically. You don't do that. You don't do that. That's why you have North Africa the way it is. And the Americas the way it is. And certain parts of Australia, they want to bleach those black people out. They've been trying that for years. So please don't fall for these white folks. See, these white liberals try to have an agenda. They want to promote interracial horror because that was now instead of doing it the old way, they want to say they just want to slightly push it in just about every damn movie. Even in all black movies, they always want to have some form of interracial agenda or homosexual agenda. They want to find a way to erase you off this planet. If they can't forcefully do it, they don't want you to willingly erase yourself. This is how these bastards get down. These people are no good. We do not need to be around them like that. But some brothers and sisters don't want to hear that. You're going to hear it from me, man. So when you get these little passport bros running their mouth, claiming, and then they run around with these women who are non-black, they're ignorant. And this goes for the women too. It goes for the women too, who you had a few run to Italy, want to try to seek some white man, or France, all them Negro in France, but you want to go seek some white man. Get the hell up out of here. The self-hate is real, man. Self-hate is real. And I want you brothers and sisters to understand that these bastards attack you all over the place from all angles. These bastards are really intensely attacking us from all angles. And not to be trusted on any level. I said before, you do not procreate with these people because you're diluting yourself. I mentioned in other videos how these white women want to get bigger butts now. All right, they have bigger behind. Where they get that from? Or they want bigger lips now. Before, I want to be thin. Now they want a big behind and full lips. They want to shape like a black woman, but then they hate black women, but they want to chase after black athletes. And they want to have little black babies. So you're trying to improve, supposedly, the white gene line. Because these kids, you see them little white mothers with the little mixed black kid playing football in his draft. I've seen a few of them. They want that because they know that little white athlete won't have the skills as the black athlete. So they want to sit up there and chill on that little mixed black kid because that's the child they want. Make that millions of dollars for their little white ass. I'm telling you, man. You got to see it for what it is, man. You cannot procreate outside of your group. Some of you do not want to hear this, man, but I'm telling you, you cannot do that. That's destructive. If you study black history, that's been used, destructive. Even in the old black, in the the Eastern European powers, that when the black people ruled Europe, you had some of them Negroes taking in white wives. A lot of them were doing it, I guess, as a peace treaty. And they were taking in these white concubines. They was having these mulatto children that was starting to basically to bleach out the black population there, as well as many of them were being killed, and then it was being pushed out because you had some sellout Negroes who wanted to take down other kingdoms who ruled, and they wanted to take over the empire and rule over these other group of blacks. So you had in-house fighting, as well as Negroes could not keep their pants zipped. I'm telling you, man, you cannot do that. That's destructive. Like I said, brothers, some brothers don't want to hear this, but I'm being true for you. Any Negro, because there's 7 Negroes, particularly one with his mush mouth talking ass. All he does is talk about black women and and brag about his son doesn't date black women no more. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, man, do not fall for this. This is what these people want you to do. This is their way to wipe you off this planet. And this is a way also to so-called improve their genes, because these white folks are technically dying off. Some of you brothers and sisters, you really don't understand. You gotta understand who you dealing with. You're dealing with a beast, a cave beast, and that's where you're really from. The cave beast. You're not indigenous to nothing. And unfortunately, some of our people civilize them, or so-called civilize them. I mean, clean them up and talking about proper hygiene, which still don't work for many of them. I'm telling you now, study your history, because black folks are the original people around the world. When you see that image of that Minoan snake goddess, and you see her, that image of that black woman with like a serpent on her head, crown on her head. You see that image in Alberta, Canada, with a woman that is carved into rock, is very old and is deteriorating. Scientists don't talk about that. You see all the serpent mounds throughout America, and then the serpent kings that was in South America. Dude, our history is all over, but it's particularly here in America. Brothers and sisters, you got to turn your eye from the other side of the Atlantic, come over to the West and study the West. Study where the sun sets. Study it. Because if you do not study them, these people going to continue to steal and lie, put up fake artifacts and all this stuff, like these fake, like I said before, there's one image they keep continuing to show of Hannibal, which is a fake ass statue, look nothing like him compared to those images of them Carthaginian coins, man. The Carthaginian coins show you a possible image of Hannibal, unquestionably a black man, but then they show you this fake ass statue, they look nothing like that man. This is what they're doing. They taking bogus. I've known this for years. I studied the art. They take bogus ass statues, man, and they and they bring in some different ass statues up there, man. They'll take the original statue. They have original statue if they have one, and then they'll come up with the bogus one. But they really put the bogus one to display in these museums, or they'll constantly promote in these little History Channel documentaries. I used to look at that all the time, and I stopped looking at that mess, man. I said I can't take no more. You got plenty of tapes dealing with ancient America, ancient Egypt, and that's outright bold-faced lies. All you gotta do is put a lot of this stuff together. So it says study certain sciences. When you study certain sciences, you know it's genetically impossible for pale-skinned people to survive in that heat area of so-called Egypt, of so-called India, and so-called Peru. You had your black empires globally. You had brothers and sisters building ships and traveling the seas globally. They traveled throughout the Pacific and the Atlantic, which is more tumultuous, and the Pacific was more the calm waters, but they were able to travel and sail. throughout the sea. So when you buy into that mess that you just brought in the slave shit that you originally came here, and that's just ignorant talk. This is ignorant talk, man. So I'm telling you now, continue put the effort into your studying. Continue to study your history. Continue to go down that journey of knowing who you really are. I mentioned, like I said before, the Aztecs. You know, when Montezuma said his people doesn't come from here. His people come from where the sun rises. This is where the sun sets. So he's telling you his people came from the east. So as them people came from the east, came to the west, there was already black people there. So all they do is just put their niche in and built on top of the older black civilization that was already there. All right? These modern day Mexicans are not Aztecs. They're not Mayans. I'm Aztec warrior. No, you're not. They're not Mayans. They're not Olmecs. And then you try to show these little bogus ass pictures of a mestizo and try to pass it as an Olmec. One thing I said before, the Olmecs had a woolly, and even you do have black people with wavy straight hair, but they'll show these obviously mixed mestizos and try to pass it off as an Olmec. But what gives it away is right instantly their hair. Their hair had no comparison to the Olmecs of the past. Plus, the Olmecs were darker. But black folks always range in very different skin tone. I'm gonna make this clear, right? Always range in very different skin tone, without having white admixture. The original blue-eyed people were black people. Original blonde-haired people were black people. So you got to understand this. Every single feature originated from so-called black people. White folks ain't originate nothing. They come from black people. Their genetic mutation, the lack of melanin, they come from black people. You got to understand this. They come from black people. They originated basically as Abonoid type black people. That's what white folks originated as. That's where they come from. And then the modern day Asians, the pale Asians, so many degrees of mixture of the, like I said, the Khoisan type black and white. And you start the constant mixture, then you start to bleach out that skin tone of the Khoisan. But then you still have certain features like those eyes of theirs. And so that where modern Asians come from. Right? So brothers and sisters, man, that is my quick piece. I'm gonna do me some reading this week, chilling, and I just wanted to give you that information, man. So continue to learn and grow, and to realize these white folks, man, are just pathological liars, and that's what they are. But you're gonna have to see them for what they are and stop trying to love them, thinking you're gonna change them. All right, brothers. Peace and love. Brother, you well.